Hello to everyone, myself Anshuman with today's activity. The topic of my activity is The Road Not Taken. His poet is Robert Frost. My activity. This well known poem is about making choices and the choices that shape us. Robert Frost is an American poet who writes simply but insightfully about common, ordinary experiences. In the poem, The Road Not Taken, the road symbolizes our life. The poet says that the part that we don't choose in our life is the road not taken. He describes his feelings about that choice that he had left in the past. The past which we have chosen decides our future and our destination. The important message that the poet wants to give us is that the choice that we make has an impact on our future, and if we make a wrong choice, we regret it but can't go back on it. So we must be wise while making choices. In stanza 1, two roads diverged in Yellowwood, and sorry I cannot travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Diverged means by separated and took a different direction. Yellowwood means by a forest with decomposing leaves. Undergrowth means by dense growth of plants, and bushes means the forest. In the stanza, once the poet was walking down a road, and then there was a diversion. There were two different paths, and he had to choose one out of them. The poet says that as he was one person, he could travel on one road only. He had to choose one out of these two roads. Yellowwood means a forest with leaves which we are wearing out, and they have turned in yellow in color in the season of autumn. It represents a world which is full of people, where people have been living for many years. They represent people who are older than the poet. The poet kept standing there and looked at the path very carefully, as far as he could see. Before taking the path, he wanted to know how it was. Was it suitable for him or no? He was able to see the path till from where it curved, after which it was covered with trees and was hidden. It happens in our life also. When we have choices, we have alternatives, but we have to choose only one out of them. We take time to think about the pros and cons, whether it is suitable for us or not, and only then we take a decision on what path we should choose. In stanza 2, then took the other just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted beer. True as for that, passing there had warned them really about the same. Fair in the stanza, fair was meant by as good as the another one. Claim means by better option. Grassy means by unused, and wanted beer means by had not been used. In the stanza, the poet kept on looking at one path for a long time to check if it is the right path for him or not, and then he decided and started walking on another path because he felt that the both paths were equally good. He says just as fair, so he felt that both paths were equally good and started walking on one of them. He adds that maybe he felt that the path was better for him, so he chose it as it had grass on it, which means that it was unused. Not many people had walked on his path earlier. That is why this path was grassy and wanted beer, means that it was not walked over by many people. After he walked on the path for some distance, he realized that both the paths had been worn out the same way. Both paths were similar and worn out. Even in our life, we take any path or option, but all of them have the same benefits, disadvantages, problems, challenges, and we must face them. We think that we are choosing a better option, but it is not that the way. In third stanza, and both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step untrodden black. Oh, I kept that first for another day, at knowing how well leads on to the way. I doubted if I should ever come back. Trodden means walked over. In the stanza, the poet says that both the paths were similar that morning. Both had leaves on them, and no one had stepped on them. As they were still green in color, he decided that the day he would take one path and keep the other path for another day. Although he know that only way leads one to another way. He know that he could not go back on the choice that he had made. Similarly, even in our life, once we choose an option, we must keep on moving ahead with that option. We never get a chance to come back and take the other option that we had left earlier. In stanza 4, I shall be telling this was a sky somewhere, ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. In stanza, sigh means deep breath, hence means here in the future, and in stanza, he says that in the future he will take a deep breath and say that once upon a time he had reached such a point in life that there were two options for him and traveled on that road, which had been traveled upon by a lesser number of people. That decision of his decided his future. Similarly, in future, when you grow up, then you will say that once upon a time, when you were young, you had two options. The choice that you made, what you became of it. This is a very strong message for all the students that you should be wise and careful while making choices out of the options that you have in your life, because your future depends on the choice that you make today. Thanks, stay home, stay safe.